What's up, everybody? This is my 2017 Ford Raptor here. I've had it for a little over a year. Said I was going to do a little review on it and maybe take you guys for a ride in it and give you my impressions. So here we go. So I got the Ruby Red, I believe it's called. And you know, I've got the graphics package and all that. It's pretty much fully loaded. The only thing that it doesn't have are the beadlock rims, because when I bought it, for some reason there was a recall, safety recall. That's what the guy told me. I've got tinted windows. I've got 10% all around with 60% in the front. And as you can see, you know, we've got the Fox shocks here, which make for an incredible ride. You know, I'll get into that later. Got the nice 315 tires, BF Goodrich KO2s, which are excellent tires. And yeah, so I've also got this tonneau cover I got from Tonneau Covers World. It's the Gator. It's the Gator cover, which is highly recommended. Basically, you know, you can slide, you know, slide to open. It's pretty watertight. You know, if you get heavy rain, you know, you get a little bit of water in there. I keep my gym stuff in here and I've never really had a problem, but also, you know, I never installed the drain pipes, which, you know, probably would have helped. But, you know, when you do that, you've got to drill holes in the bed. I did that on my other truck and I still got a little bit of water, so I don't really know that it makes a huge difference. But, you know, we've got the Tough Bed, which is a very nice touch. And another thing that I really like is you've got this step right here, which is awesome. I mean, you know, it's not really that high anyway, but it definitely helps. You know, you could just step right on here and get in. Very nice touch. Very nice. And you've also got lights. You've got LED lights all around, which you're not going to be able to see right now because it's a beautiful, you know, I mean, yeah, I could show you a little bit, but you're not going to be able to see much because it's a sunny day out. So and then, as you can see, this slides right in. Very nice. Just like that. And oh yeah, another cool feature, you know, obviously I've got the Ford plaque right there, which I love. Another cool feature though is you've got remote open. You can open the bed through the key fob and it's soft open so it doesn't slam. Love that. But it doesn't close on its own, unfortunately. So let's take a look. Yeah, here's the Raptor. Very nice. Love that. Let's take a look at the, well, let's take another look at the front. This is, the Raptor has always been, you know, when it first came out, I know me and my sister were the car gurus of the family, so you know, when this thing first came out, you know, we couldn't believe it. You know, when we'd see them on the road, you know, we would always comment about them. One thing in particular that we always loved is the those red or the orange lights, which, for those of you that don't know why it has those, it's because it's so wide that if, you know, if a vehicle is over, I believe it was like 69 inches wide, it has to have those orange lights. It's basically, you know, mandated by the DOT, which I find to be extremely badass. So, you know, and then another thing we've got down here is the metal skid plate. Got you know, and then you got the front tow hooks, which is awesome. And you know, LED headlights. We got the power mirrors, which is very nice. Love this truck. I feel very fortunate to own it, because like I said, it has always been a dream truck of mine, and owning it has been a pleasure. You know, I'll get into that a little later on. It's got about almost 18,000 miles on it. It's never had any issues, and I've never taken it off-roading though, so I mean, but you know, as a daily driver, it's absolutely incredible. You've also got the you got the nice dual exhaust on there, which is really nice. This is a V6, however, so you're not going to get that V8 roar, but it is it's a 3.5 liter. I'm sure you know most of you watching this already know this, but it's a 3.5 liter EcoBoost. It's a 450 horsepower, 510 torque, and it's got the nice Ford Performance right there. Very nice engine. Like I said, not a V8, but this thing is a beast. It moves very, very well. Very, very well. Just to give you an idea of how quick this thing is for a truck, you know, my sister has a 2000, and it's either a 2010 or an 11, I forget, Lexus ISF, and we've raced many times, and I mean, we've been pretty much neck and neck, right, you know, until we get into the higher speeds, then she pulls away. But I mean, for a truck, that's pretty good. It's 0 to 60 in the, I believe, mid to low 5, so I mean, yeah, it's very nice. The only thing I will say about it though is it doesn't really stop the best. So yeah, I mean, but it's not really, you know, meant to be racing anyway, so yeah. One more look. Like I said, completely stock other than the tinted windows. I haven't done anything to it. Let's take a look at the inside. We've got a lot of room back here, tons and tons of room. This thing, yeah, the seats, they can fold up, as you can see. I really like the interior of Ford trucks. I always have. I think they're definitely one of the better interiors as far as trucks go, but I'm 6'4", and I'll pull the seat down here, see, and I'll take a seat in the back. Yep, okay, so sitting in the back, shut the door here. Now, one thing to note is, okay, so take a look. Look at my leg room here. And my head actually is just touching the roof, but I am 6'4", like I said. But, you know, other than that, I do feel like I have a lot of room. But just one thing to note about the leg room here. I mean, as you can see, it is right there, but there's one thing to let you guys know is that this truck has valet entrance and exit mode, which means when you get out of the truck, it will put the driver's seat all the way back, and that's where it is right now. So I mean, this is all the way back, and when I'm 6'4", like I said, and when I'm driving this thing, the seat is pretty, you know, close. I'd say it's about halfway between all the way up and all the way back. So, you know, you'd have a lot more room than this, you know, if I was actually driving it, if it wasn't pushed all the way back. But other than that, you've got rear, you know, AC vents, which I love. You've also got a, you know, a cigarette lighter adapter, or, you know, and yep, you've got 2 USB ports, which is amazing. Absolutely love that. And then one thing that I absolutely love is you have a 120 volt house plug, which is absolutely awesome. Absolutely love that. And I think I already mentioned, but you know, you got heated seats. I've never actually used the heated seats back here, so I don't know. I will say that the heated seats in the front, it's not its strongest suit, you know, it's not its strongest feature. They take quite a while to heat up, but the cooled seats are very nice. The cooled seats, they get cool really quick, and you know, you could feel the air coming out. Very, very nice. I love it. But here's some more of the interior. In the back, you know, you've got the you know, I've got the leather seats. You got the pouch here. You got the pouches over there, you know, on that side. Let's take a look at the front. I love the center console. I think it's definitely, like I said, one of the nicer of the trucks. You got all that. This truck has tons and tons of storage space. I've got the Raptor graphics on the seat. Let's take a look at the front seat now. Got the Raptor graphic on the front seat right there, which I really like. One thing that I wish I could have gotten was the red, you know, the black and red interior. I love that, but you know, this is very good too. Like I said, blessed to have it. We've got here's the infotainment system. Here's the dash. Like I said, about 18,000 miles on here. Got 17,682. Done a couple oil changes, obviously, so far. But yeah, here's the center console, the center glove box, if you will, or whatever you'll call it. But yeah, this is my truck, so obviously I've got things in here, but like I said, you've got tons and tons of room here. You could honestly, oh yeah, and you can take this out. I'd guess that you could probably fit about 3 gallons of milk in here if you really wanted to. It's pretty nice. And then you've got, on top of that, you've got some, looks like it, you know, oh yeah, 2 pen holders there, and yeah. So then you've got the you know, the glove compartment here. I still have the window sticker, and you know, it's got the opening for the book, you know, for the instruction manual and all that right there. Center console, it is soft open, which I like. I like that, very nice. And you know, you've got ambient lights. Let me start it up and see if it'll pick up on that. Oh yeah, that's what, yep, look at that. That's what I want to show. This is one thing that I really love here, is this animation that you got when you start the truck. Take a look at this. I love that. My father had, I believe it was a 2013 F-150 that had that, and then I bought 2016 and it didn't have it, and I was pretty upset. I couldn't believe that they would have taken that out, because it's a really awesome feature, but I was extremely happy to see that they have it back in this truck. But yeah, so going through the infotainment, the one thing that I really do not like, ever since I got the update, you know, I got an update of, you know, Sync 3. You get all these, you get like so many pop-ups when you initially turn the system on. You've got to click OK, get through them all. But again, we've got Howard Stern going. But let's take a look at the settings. You've got a bunch of stuff. Yeah, you know, ambient light, which is really cool. It doesn't have quite as many as the Camaro, but it's got a good amount. Let me see if I can get them. Right now I got it on the red. I actually have red in the Camaro too. So I think it looks good. One of my favorite colors. But yeah, usually that would light up red, but it's not going to, because you know, I turned the headlights on, but it's got sensors, so even if you have the headlights on in the daytime, it's not gonna, you know, it's not going to switch the interior to like, you know, dark mode, you know, until it's actually dark out. So, but yeah, turn that off, don't want any copyright problems. But yeah, let's talk about the sound system. The sound system in here is it's a Sony premium system. Let's see what we got here. Got the Sony, you know, center speaker right there, and you also have subs. They're mounted, you know, they're mounted under the rear seats. I've never seen them, but I know there's a way that you could, you know, fold the top of the rear seat down and look at them. I know, yeah, I've been told that on the forums, but the sound system is pretty good. Definitely no complaints. Then you've got another little storage bin right up here, which I love. I always throw my keys up there, or, you know, as you can see, my winter hat. I'll, you know, just throw it right over there. And oh, you've also, so right here, you've got your button for heated steering wheel, which works really well. That heats up really quick and it gets nice and hot. And yeah, here are the buttons for the heated and cooled seats, and, you know, the fan controls and all that. The cooled seats, like I said, work better than the heated. But, you know, once the heated seats get going, they're not bad. And then talk about some of the drive modes. See, here's the drive mode, you know, buttons right here on the steering wheel, which is really nice. So if you look over, you know, if I hit the drive mode, you get your option of normal, which I keep it in normal most of the time. Then you've got sport, you've got weather, mud and sand, Baja, which is awesome, rock crawl, which I've never used Baja or rock crawl because you know, it switches to 4x4, and you don't want to, you know, be driving in 4x4 on dry pavement, because you can mess up the the transfer case. So I've used normal, sport, and weather. Like I said, I use normal most of the time. Sport mode does make a big difference. You know, it makes it a lot more. It makes the throttle response a lot more sensitive. It holds the gears, you know, higher, and definitely gives you a lot more. You know, it's definitely very, very generous with the boost. I love that boost gauge, by the way. Let's talk about the gas mileage for a minute. Yeah, I filled it about 2 days ago. I don't really drive too far, you know. I drive, I'd say, you know, about maybe 20-30 miles a day on average, but it does have a big gas tank. It's got the 36-gallon extended range tank. The mileage is rated at 16 to 18. I get about, I'd say, you know, I'd get like right between there. I, you know, average about 17 miles to the gallon. It's, you know, it costs a lot to fill it, I'm not going to lie. It's usually about $90 to $100 if you let it get, you know, all the way to E. But it will last me, you know, given what I said, that I only drive like 20 to 30 miles a day. It'll last me about 2.5 to 3 weeks usually. So yeah, and, you know, then I'm sure you guys are probably wondering what that, you know, A is, and I'll talk about that. That is actually the auto start stop feature, which when you're driving, you know, if you have that activated, which I, you know, 99% of the time I turn it off. It's very easy to do. All you do is, you know, you hit that button. But when you have that activated, basically what it does is whenever you come to a stoplight or, you know, a stop sign, it'll shut the engine. It's not bad. It's good. It's not intrusive or anything. It starts up right away, like before your foot is even off the brake. It's started up. You know, it doesn't get in the way at all. But, you know, to be honest, I don't really care for it, and 99% of the time I turn it off. So yeah, other than that, you know, you've got Another thing, you know, you've got backup camera. So yeah, that's right. All right. So when I said that I've never had a problem with this truck, I was kind of lying. So I've got a little bit of an issue, but really nothing much. When you put it in reverse, when you have the backup camera, see right there, that bottom part, this part is actually supposed to, you know, like be like that. It's supposed to show you what's actually behind you. That went out, I'd say, a couple months ago, and next time I get an oil change, I'll have them look at it and fix it. But, you know, like I said, really not a big deal. If that's the biggest problem I ever have with this truck, you know, I'll be more than satisfied. And so let's take a look right here. You've got the, you know, obviously you got the window controls. You've got auto up and down on both the front, you know, driver and passenger side. You don't have it on the, you know, rears though, but yeah, I guess that doesn't really matter. Not the biggest deal in the world. Yeah, one thing that's really cool right here, if you can see that, is you've got spotlights on the mirrors, which is really awesome. You know, it's great for, you know, if you're using the truck, you know, at a construction site or anything like that. And oh yeah, here's your you know, to fold the mirrors right there. There's a bug right on there. I wonder what that is. Yeah, it's a fly. But yeah, you know, there you go. You got your mirrors right there, which are, you know, I love that. You know, the you know, when you're parking next to somebody, it's nice to be able to fold the mirrors. And this does have the 10-speed transmission, which I'll talk about that more on the driving portion of this. So yeah, let's see. Other than that, yeah, you know, there's the you know, you got that hood scoop, which is you got the vents on the hood, which is very nice. It's got a nice, definitely has a nice road presence, and you definitely, you know, you're much higher than everybody else. It's really nice, you know. The ride, you know, oh, and that's another thing. You got this, you know, you got this red strip right here. For anybody that doesn't know what that red strip is there for, the GT350 also has that. It's basically, you know, like, because this is like an off-road race truck, you know, Baja, you know, basically, so when you're, you know, racing and, you know, like you're in the middle of it and, you know, all that, you know, you always know that this is the center of the wheel. You know, it just helps so you're not confused. It's also got paddle shifters, which honestly I really don't use, but we'll get more into that. We'll talk more about that in the driving portion of the video. So let's take it for a drive. But before that, let's do a, you know, a start and see how the exhaust sounds. Now, full disclosure, that was not a cold start. I actually drove the truck down here to where I'm shooting the video. And another thing to note is it does have a rev limiter, so when it's in park, you know, if you rev it up, it won't let it go past 4,000 RPM. But, you know, like I said, it doesn't really sound like anything too special. It does have a, you know, a unique sound to it. I do like the way they tuned the, you know, the exhaust, but it's definitely no V8. So, all right, let's take it for a drive and talk about our driving impressions. So setting off in the 2017 Ford Raptor, first thing you might notice is that, yes, I am in a different shirt. For some reason, yesterday I recorded a whole about 10-minute clip, and when I went to edit it, I noticed that the audio was completely out of sync and it was useless. Shout out to the Galaxy Note 9 for that one. But anyway, we'll try it again this time. But yeah, so the first thing you notice is that it's extremely comfortable. Like I said, tons of room. You know, the ride is, honestly, it's comparable to like a Cadillac. It's very, very, you know, bouncy, very plush, and that's, you know, obviously going to be due to the Fox shocks with the 13 inches of suspension travel, 14 inches in the back, 13.9. But yeah, also it's got adaptive cruise control, which is a really nice feature. I actually have driven all the way from Connecticut to Norwalk. Well, I've driven all the way from Connecticut to New York without having to touch the brakes once. It works really well. It's an awesome feature to have. Highly recommended, for anybody that's thinking of buying a vehicle and wonder if they should get that feature. I highly recommend it. One thing to note about this truck, and from what I understand, it's a pretty common thing when it's cold out, especially in the colder months like in the winter. When you first drive it, before the transmission is fully warmed up, you will notice that it shifts kind of rough, and sometimes it seems almost like it hesitates to shift gears, because this thing, I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with this transmission. It's what do you call it? It's a 10-speed automatic, but it can skip gears. It can go 1, 3, 5, and then after 5, I believe it just goes up single. But it'll go from 1, and then you can feel it kind of hesitating, and then it'll bang into 3rd, and it'll do that from 3rd to 5th. I mean, it's not crazy. It's not enough to where I would take it to the dealership, but it's definitely enough to notice. I made a thread about it on the Ford forums actually, and they said that it's not that uncommon. A lot of theirs did that. They said it's just because it's it has so many gears, but I mean honestly I don't know. My brother, he's got a Mercedes 9-speed automatic, and his never does that. So I mean honestly I don't know. And in my experience, when transmissions start hesitating like that and banging into gear, it's usually it can mean trouble ahead. That's how it's always been, in my experience. So we'll see. I mean, I got the 7-year, 75,000 mile warranty on this thing, so honestly, I'm not that worried about it. But another thing to note, because this truck has, such a, bouncy ride, and, given the fact that it is a pickup and it doesn't have much weight in the back, you will notice, so it does wheel hop pretty easily. When I first got it, I remember, I turned onto the on-ramp right by the dealership, and there was a little bit of broken pavement on the ground. I didn't really think anything of it, but I stepped on it, because I want, I just bought it, I want to see what it's got. I didn't go crazy because it was still breaking in, but as soon as it went over, the bump, that hopped, and it almost felt like the transmission was skipping. And I remember, noticing that it would do that quite often. And at first I was wondering, is this transmission skipping, or what's going on? Because it feels very similar, that you get that lurch, but it's definitely not the transmission. It's a common thing. It has wheel hop, so that's one thing to definitely be careful with. It does have a good amount of torque, so also in the rain and stuff, just be careful, because it can break loose fairly easily, especially if you're going around the corner and you try to give it too much gas. I've definitely had that where the rear end will just kick right out on you, so just be mindful of that. But other than that, the steering is absolutely great. Very light steering. And let me see. Let's see, I just switched it to sport mode. Like I said, I don't really use sport mode that often, but yeah, it does switch. It does make the steering a little tighter in sport mode, but it's definitely, the steering in this thing is definitely very direct. It's it's very nice. It's not, if you guys are familiar with those older trucks where you'd have to turn the steering wheel a whole half a turn before the wheels even did anything. No, this thing is nothing like that. a truck. It's extremely refined, and that's one of the biggest things that I want to tell you guys is, for anybody that maybe hasn't owned a truck in a while, or maybe they're used to those older trucks that they had, like the ride was terrible, where I know those older trucks where you go over a bump and your head hits the ceiling and stuff like that. No, this is nothing like that. Honestly, this thing rides like a luxury car. It's wonderful, absolutely wonderful. Like I said, incredible daily driver. Yeah, highly recommend it as a daily driver. So yesterday I did a nice little 0 to 60 run. So I'll insert that in the I'll put that right after this clip. So yeah, thanks for watching, and enjoy the rest of the video. I'm gonna see if I could get a nice little highway on-ramp pull for you guys here. Hopefully see the problem. What happens over here is these people, if there are other people turning in front of me, it's hard because they're all going slow as hell, which they are, but I've got a little idea. I think I'll just pull over. I'm gonna put it in sport mode. So here we go. We'll give this a try. Go a little bit. Alright, so I'll do a nice little 0 to 60 run, and of course, as I figured, people are still coming. Alright, that looks like enough room, let's go. I hope you guys can catch that. Let's see if we can get a nice little tunnel. Alright, I hope you guys were able to enjoy that as much as I was. Definitely, like I said, when you put it in sport mode, definitely makes a big difference. It definitely, it engages the turbos a lot more generously, I'd like to say. And yeah, it's very nice. So I guess I'll go over some final thoughts. So final thoughts on the 2017 Ford Raptor. What can I say? I love this truck. I really do. I really don't have anything bad to say about it. It's been a pleasure to own, and I look forward to many more years with this truck. A couple things that I forgot to show though, is it's got tons and tons of, like off-road features and things like that. I guess I'll quickly show you guys those. So if you look right here, you've got first of all, you can configure, the view that you want, the things that you want it to display on the, center console. Right there, you got my average miles per gallon, which is, 16.5. Usually I'm getting around 17. It was probably the little on-ramp pull that brought us down a little bit. But, yeah, see, okay. There, you could also have it constantly showing that, which I used to have, but now lately I like the digital speedometer. You've got this, which is really cool. You got off-road, status. It shows you the, the axis that the truck is at, all that stuff, and it shows you it actually shows you right here, the angles at which your, front wheels are turning, which is really awesome. It'll also show, there's also, let me see if I can find it here. There's also a way that you could, Yep, power distribution. Now this is really cool. It'll actually show you, you know, if you're in, you know, all-wheel drive, it'll show you how much power, you know, you're giving to the front or the rear wheels, you know, which I thought was really cool. There's really, yeah, you know, you could go through your, you know, trailer bliss. Now that's one. Now that I completely forgot about. Yeah, well, trailer blind spot. Yeah, that's trailer blind spot detection. But more importantly than that, what we've got is we've got this right here. Right here, trailer backup. Now what this does is if you hook up a trailer to this truck, and you know, there's just a couple things you have to do, like you have to, you know, input the exact size of the trailer and all that, and you know, you have to run through a couple things. But once you do, you can actually back up, you know, back the truck and the trailer up by just simply, you know, swinging, you know, the direction that you want the trailer to go, and it will actually move the steering wheel and all. It's absolutely awesome. There are videos on YouTube showing you, you know, how it works, but that's one of the features that always really impressed me. You know, you got cross traffic alert, which basically, like, you know, if you're backing up and traffic's coming from the left or the right, you know, it'll start beeping and it'll actually tell you where, you know, which direction they're coming from, which is really awesome, and I can tell you works really good. And Raptor status. Yeah, so you know, more, yeah, it tells you the mode you're in, the driving, you know, all the modes and stuff. It's also got hill descent control, which is really cool. Basically what that does is, you know, like if you're going down a really steep hill, if you're going down like a really steep hill and you're nervous, you know, basically you could put on hill descent control, and what that will do is it'll, you know, basically it'll control the speed that the truck is moving, and all you have to do is steer, and it'll keep it at about 10 miles an hour, which is really awesome. Like I said, you know, this thing has got a lot of really incredible features. I mean, you know, for the price that you pay for it, I think it's a steal. I mean, this is, you know, the most capable vehicle I've ever owned. I've gone on many road trips with this thing. It's comfortable. Like I said, it's got that, you know, extended range fuel tank. I've gone literally from Connecticut to New York and back and only used like a half a tank of gas. It's awesome. So I guess that's really it. If you guys have any more questions, please leave them in the comments section, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Be on the lookout for more videos. Thanks. Bye.